What's up 2021, and this year I'm kicking off a new series review, or a new movie series. Heck, it's movie reviews with all the movies in it pretty much. I'm kicking off with the X-Men. Yes, the X-Men, one of my favorite Marvel cartoon comic book groups. I don't know what else to say about the characters. It's like things I've grown up with as a kid. I watched the 1990s X-Men cartoons. I've seen the early 2000 movies. I've watched them all except for Dark Phoenix at this point. I've not seen Dark Phoenix yet. And I'm pretty much working my way through it. I want to review this giant saga with the X-Men series for a very long time. And now I'm jumping into it with First Class. So every Monday, from now until I finish the series, I will be reviewing, can't think now, I will be reviewing the X-Men. And let's start off in chronological order, by the way. Not movie release date order, but as what I think of the story. And First Class, by the way, is probably the best way to kick off a series. Let's go ahead and jump into it. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka, and what is Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series where we look at new and old movies, give them a grade, A through up, plus and minuses do count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I get to it as best I can. Also, I want to say thank you guys for watching this series. I really appreciate it. Please like, please subscribe, please comment your thought, whether it's good or bad. I love it. Thank you guys, because whatever you comment, YouTube is like, hey, this is interacting with people, and they're gonna push it out there. So I win in the end. I'm playing, but thank you guys so much for the love. Also, I do have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. On Patreon, you get movie reviews, trailer reaction, trailer reviews, first thoughts. You get series reviews, all that stuff way before it comes out on YouTube and Facebook. Like way before. This is coming out in November on Patreon. It's already January. You're watching it on YouTube and Facebook. So giving you guys a heads up there. And let's go ahead and get into today's review of X-Men First Class. What is X-Men First Class? Well, it's about the origins of Magneto and Charles Xavier and how they get to where they are today. It talks about the beginning of their origins and them interacting with each other and how the X-Men become to be. Also, you got the Cuban Missile Crisis that happened with the United States and Russia, because this movie is based in the 60s. And you know what? Storyline wise, this movie is great. Character development, it is great. Like, this is such a great movie that we don't really talk about in the world of superheroes. Like, it is done so well. So well. For me to really get in, like, go on this movie, like go ham, I have to nitpick. Pretty much. That's how you know you've done a really good job with a movie, if the fandom, because I can watch this as a movie goer and not be a fan, and you can completely understand Magneto's problems and his issues, Charles Xavier issues, Mystique's issues, the Beast issues. You can understand their motivations and why they're doing what they're doing. And then you also get Sebastian Shaw and his motivation, why he wants to do his thing. And then as a fan, you be like, well, yeah, shoot, this is how the characters are. Also, if I'm gonna get really big into the lore of X-Men with the cinematic movie, that doesn't make sense here. Well, that doesn't make sense here. Why does Beast look like this when he looked like this in, Days, or X-Men 3, not Days of Future Past, but X-Men 3, and why does, Emma Frost looks like this when she's in X-Men Origins as this? I can get the nitpick of it, but that's just me being a nitpick fan. Other than that, this movie is a great movie. I don't know what more to say about it. You will enjoy this movie. Now, this movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes long. And the ending, I feel like, does not drag, but it is a little extra, like a little 10 to 15 minutes longer than it needs to be, but at the same time, it's worth it. Like, it's good to have that ending. So it's not really like that horrible of an ending. It's just a little bit long, and it's kind of like, okay, well, we did this. Now what's next going to happen? Okay, now we're adding this. Oh, now we're adding this. Oh, Charles Xavier no longer walk. And there you go. Spoiler for somebody we already know who's in a wheelchair, so But this movie came out in 2011. The first X-Men came out in 2000. So a whole decade later, they kind of rebooted the series in a sense. But at the same time, keep the continuity the same. And you know what? It's great. It's done really, really well. Matter of fact, me watching this movie pretty much put the spotlight on James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender for me. Like, seeing them in these roles is like, James McAvoy is Charles Xavier, Michael Fassbender is Magneto, and you get attached to these characters. You understand Magneto's motivation now. You understand Charles Xavier's motivation. If he wasn't clear enough in the first movie, you now get it in this prequel, and I am 100% down with it. And I also mentioned, yes, it's the X-Men forming together pretty much the first time, and they're also trying to stop the Cuban Missile Crisis, because this movie does a great job of bringing in real life events and showing that, like, oh, this was caused because the mutant was trying to get United States versus Russia and destroy each other, nuclear warfare. Then the mutants will survive and rise up, and Sebastian Shaw, who's played by Kevin Bacon, will be the ruler of the new world. And the X-Men are trying to stop him. And Magneto actually agrees with Kevin Bacon or Sebastian Shaw, but the problem is Sebastian Shaw abused Magneto when Magneto was put into the concentration camps during the Holocaust. So Magneto was like, I'm going to come back and get you and kill you, and then I'm going to try to rule the world like I want to put it, and put the image of mutants are better than others. But then you have Charles Xavier, who's like, no, everybody should coexist. It shouldn't be mutants dominating, it should be humans dominating, it should be a mixture of both. And I always think back to like the civil rights movement, because that's what Stan Lee based the X-Men off of. You can go Google that and research that yourself, but it's a true thing. It's based off the civil rights movement. So I think that's just a really cool thing. And you have like the two sides, like Dr. King and Malcolm X, Charles Xavier and Magneto. In a sense, you know, Malcolm X is, you can look at, read into that however you want. It's kind of neat how they did that. And yeah, man, this movie is just a great movie. It's a good movie. You understand everybody's motivation. You understand characters' feelings and how they feel. For example, Mystique, she really just wants to be normal growing up. Like, that's what she wants to look like, a normal person, want to be accepted. But because her normal color of her skin is blue, people don't want to be like, oh, you're beautiful, versus Magneto's like, no, she's gorgeous. I don't know why y'all hating on her. And of course, she turns into Jennifer Lawrence. So therefore you're like, oh yeah, she's a cute person. And then when you go into Mystique, you're like, she's still cute. She's still Jennifer Lawrence in a blue suit. But then you have a character like the Beast, who's like, only thing different about him is that his feet are look like human hands. He's a beast. And he tried to turn himself into normal feet, which, okay bro, I get that everybody has their things that they don't like about him. But he wasn't really that far off. But in his mind, he was like, I am a freak, I'm a monster. And he wants to use Mystique's regenerative and not regenerative, but I guess her cells regenerate to a point to make her look younger. But her shape-shifting genes to find a way to make a cure. And he ended up turning himself into the Beast. Now, Kelsey Grammer in X-Men 3, I believe that's his name, make sure I got it right. Yes, Kelsey Grammer Beast in X-Men 3 looked way better than the Beast in First Class. And it irked me. I could not get over that. I understand the Beast in the comic books looks a lot different versions of him. But in First Class, they made him look like garbage. I am sorry. He just looked so bad compared to what he looks like in the other movies. I just couldn't get over it. Every time I watch it, I was like, why is this? Who did this? And I get it. He's different versions of him in the comic books. So you try to make him look like the ones in the comic books. But the Beast, just go off the 1990s cartoons. Heck, even X-Men the Wolverine has the Beast look like his 1990 cartoon counterpart. Even X-Men 3, the movie, had to look like his 1990s counterpart. So the whole lion mix character, I get it. The Beast looks different in comic books. I get it. It just didn't work. It just didn't work. I'm glad they didn't keep that same Beast look form in X-Men Days of Future Past. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the characters and actors. James McAvoy, who played Charles Xavier, Professor X, I thought he did a good job. The brainiac, the brilliant guy who was serious and his motivation was pure and simple. He really wanted to just make sure the mutants don't fight the humans and don't want to cause a war, and he want to get a team together to show everybody that humans and mutants could work together and coexist. Great. Michael Fassbender as Magneto, probably one of the best parts about this movie, especially during the training montage where Michael Fassbender has to use his emotional side and his happy thoughts to actually magnesium, the power of magnetic magnesium. I'm not sure. I lost some. Uses magnetic powers there to, move this giant satellite. Instead of using anger, he used happiness, and it was done so well. Like, Michael Fassbender is such a great actor, and you can believe the emotions going through his mind and his thoughts, and he does a great way to express it. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence, for her character who's unsure about herself and wants to change herself and not know where she want to be accepted as the blue Mystique or be accepted as a normal person, like her transformed Mystique person, her human counterpart, whatever the case want to be. Like, I thought she did a good job. I thought Mystique portrayed that really well, and also her little crush on Nicholas Holt's character, the Beast, that she's like, oh, we're both similar to each other, and she had this crush on. She portrayed that really well. And Nicholas Holt as the Beast, I thought he did a good job being that unsure, nerdy character who wanted to be accepted by everybody. Even there's a scene where he does something and creates like this invention and asks another character, like, what do you think? And he's like, you're still a bozo, like, but good job. Like, he earns everybody else's attention and everybody else's admiration and wants to be like fit in. He played that character really well too. He's a bit of a jerk. He was a jerk. Like, he really, he was the focal point of changing Mystique to believe, like, if Mystique turned blue in front of him and showed her who she was, he could have really made her mindset a lot better, but instead he went the other route because he believed that he would never be accepted, so he portrayed that on her too, which really messed up. Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw, I thought he did a good job. He was a menacing villain. Menacing villain. I don't know what I was supposed to say about him. He had the power to absorb energy and portray it back to people. I thought he did okay. January Jones to play Emma Frost. Once again, thought she did okay. She played the character really well. Rose Byrne, who played Moira McTaggart. It's neat seeing Rose in this movie. Like, I think I saw her in this first, and I saw Neighbors, and then went back and looked at other stuff. She's been in a lot of movies, and you know what? She did a good job for what her character asked of her. Lucas Till, who played Havoc, thought he did good. Zoe Kravitz as Angel, she did great as well. Jason Fleming is in this movie as Azazel. No idea it was him. He's a red imp dude who looks like a red version of Nightcrawler, which in the comic books, Azazel and Mystique get together, that's how you get Nightcrawler. Poof. But the guy that played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, he's also in the movie Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Dude, he is a chameleon. He is good. Caleb Landry, who played Banshee, thought he did good. And then Eddie Gattagi, who played Darwin. For the most part, he was a cool character. It just irked me that he got killed off. That's me nitpicking. I understand Darwin's not part of the original X-Men, but at the same time, you killed off the one black guy in the movie. I'm sorry, I went there. But it happened. And me being a black guy, I noticed it. I'm sorry. And maybe you might notice it too. But when you watch, you be like, did kill off the only black guy in the group. Why? It could have been anybody else. It could have been anybody else. It could have been, Havoc. It could have been Banshee. I don't think the character were changed. I don't think it really affected the outcome. But it was just like, why? I don't know. It just threw me off when I saw that. That's me nitpicking as well. But the cast is great. The cast is a great cast. They did a good job. Everybody played off each other. You can feel the emotions and the character development. You can see the character development. You can feel the emotion between the characters. They made you feel things Great job amongst the whole group here. Let's see here. Music wise, the music it's superhero music. The cinematic music is there. It plays when you have the anxiety and anticipation. It plays when scenes get intense. It did a good job. You feel every bit of it. The set pieces in the CGI. Set pieces were great. They was great, set up nice and well. CGI costume design, besides the Beast costume design, was really like, eh. Everything else was good. CGI is 2011, so it's not gonna hold up to 2020, 2021, but it for what it's worth and the time it was in, yes, it's good CGI. Fun fact before I get into, this is a Friday night movie, I do want to mention the budget and how much this movie made. So the budget for this movie was $160 million. This movie, like, cumulative worldwide grossed $352 million. So it did well in the box office, put it that way. Opening weekend, it brought in $55 million. But yeah, worldwide, they did good. They did good. Gross in the United States, it actually came up short. It was $146 million versus the $160 million budget. So that worldwide money saved their butts. But this movie, X-Men First Class, is a really good one. It's a classic. And as far as like superhero origin movies, you probably should be the one you should look at as far as how to do one right. There's a few of them out there. Iron Man, X-Men First Class. So this one you should look at, be like, that's how you do an origins movie. Guardian of the Galaxy. That's how you should do an origins movie, especially with so many characters. Now, is it a Friday night movie? Yes, watch with your friends and family. This would be a good movie to watch on Friday night. Grading time. I'm going to grade X-Men First Class an A. I can't find anything wrong with this movie without really nitpicking. Like, you have to nitpick this movie to be like, well, that's not how the story goes. Oh, that's not how continuity. And oh my gosh, this character's here and that character's there. For example, and not to call him out, but I watched a review of Doug from Channel Awesome, Nostalgia Critic, of this, and he mentioned how he was like, well, in this movie, Beast and Mystique had a thing. How come Beast didn't notice her in X-Men 3? Yo, I don't think they would have known that they were going to make X-Men First Class years later after X-Men 3. You gotta realize X-Men 3 came out way before X-Men First Class did. So you're looking at them and be like, well, how come he didn't react this way in that movie? That movie was a present movie. That movie was the past. You can't really say, well, this character should be like, I want to know, 6 years from now that they're going to do this thing. I need to be ready for it. No, man. No. So you look at this continuity wise and be like, well, how come certain characters doesn't act this way, act that way? Don't do that. Like, enjoy this movie and watch it in line with the other movies. Like, the next movie in line, chronological order, is X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I'm not I don't dislike that movie like everybody else does. I actually thought the movie was not great, but I thought the movie was a fun movie to watch. I'm excited to watch that one next. But this movie is definitely an A. There's nothing you can really nitpick in this movie. Like, there's nothing where you can really like say like blatantly like that was horrible. It's a good solid movie. Casting is solid. The acting is solid. The storyline is solid. The motivation is solid. Set pieces, everything about it is great. And the fact that they tied into real life and make it work so fluently, like, it is chef kiss. So this movie is great. Other things I want to talk about before I head on out. Wolverine is in this movie. Yes, and it's played by the character, the person or the actor that you want to play him. He's in this movie, and there's one scene where you're like, that's hilarious. And it makes you wonder, what would have been like if he joined the X-Men at this point? But it's just neat little thing there. And by the way, if you know the history of it, apparently that line was not supposed to be in the movie. And the reactions of Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy are legit real actions. And you see their faces. You actually see Michael Fassbender break character in that scene. So it's great. It's great. But yeah, that's my review of X-Men First Class. It is an A. The next movie, like I said, is X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I'm going to try and continue the line of it. So I'm going from there to X-Men 1, X-Men 2, X-Men 3. Then go watch Days of Future Past. No, sorry. The Wolverine. Then watch Days of Future Past. Finish up with Logan. And then go back into Apocalypse finishing with Dark Phoenix. And the reason why I'm doing that in that order is because after Days of Future Past, the Wolverine that you see that goes back in time, he wakes up at the end, if they all, you know, just like I said, spoiler section, just kind of seen all the movies besides Dark Phoenix. He wakes up in the present. So that way, for me, it's like it makes sense to go from that movie to Logan versus going from Days of Future Past to Apocalypse, because that Wolverine is not in the other movies. So besides that one scene in Apocalypse, he's not really in, you know, the other ones, from what I know. So I'm gonna watch Logan, then watch the other ones, go back to the current timeline. I feel like Logan is a part of the original 1, 2, 3 timeline. But yeah, that's my review of X-Men First Class. If you've seen X-Men First Class, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of Movie Breakdowns or Grind Towards Success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.